Okay, let me.
All right, let's get. You know what we have is Twitter questions.
We have a lot of Twitter questions, so
That's right,
so we don't need to kill time actually. So let's get right to it.
This one comes from Pascal Fan Club, who honestly, man, Pascal should really like send this guy a jersey if he hasn't already or something, because he does great work.
4 jerseys, yeah.
4 jerseys. Let's do it. Yeah. So they write in, almost a full season in. What's your initial assessment of Vision 6'9"? Have you seen enough to continue with it next season? I think it's been pretty successful for the most part. I think there are real tangible advantages it creates. For example, one thing that it does is just their offensive rebounding. It really does help with that, right? Like, it's pretty clear. I think you're also going to be able to create post mismatches because most teams don't have that many players who are 6'9". I think the weaknesses are also quite clear. I would say that the ball handling on this team can sometimes be lacking at times, right? There's not as much north-south pressure, although they do play through the post, so they kind of mitigate that. But still, you do worry sometimes when guys can sort of keep them on the perimeter. And, of course, the three-point shooting is weak. Some of those things you can develop. I think the team truly believes that they can develop guys into better three-point shooters. I think even for a guy like Precious, for example, he's doing a better job of it. I think Scottie's probably shooting the three better than what you would have expected coming into the season. So some of those things you can correct. I think there's real advantages here, and I think that they're definitely going to stick with this. Like, they're not going to like move away from it based on the results of this year. Like, this season's already been a really big success for the team in the big picture.
Yeah, but I think as much as you stick to it, and I agree with you, like, you can also kind of complement it with other things outside of that. Right? Like, let's get a shooter. Like, as much as I love like the development and we talk about that, and like, oh, Precious is improving, Scottie's improving. No, man, I want a guy who I know can like knock down that three, like 40% from three, whatever number you want to put on. Like, I think the Raptors need to get a couple of those guys and then surround these 6'9" guys with a couple of these new additions.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think, ideally, can you clone Gary?
Yeah, we can look into it. Yeah.
I mean,
off-season project.
Yeah. Let's get Gary Trent III on the team.
Right. And on the I thought you were going to say on the program.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
we'll get every Gary on the program. We got to clone Gary Trent
lineage.
Sr. too, man.
I honestly, it'd be great for content purposes.
Yeah. But yes, that's just my point. Like, stick to the vision.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be rigid. Like, you don't need to only go after these type of guys.
I agree.
They have enough already almost.
A third guard would really help too, just because of the fact that, like, even within a normal season, you don't have guys who are going to play like all 82 games, right? So I think you'd still need some depth there. And the third guard is something that has been less of a concern of late because Pascal has been playing a lot of guard. But, like, ultimately, you don't want a scenario where if Gary misses time or if Fred misses time, you're really worried about always losing. Or not always losing, but at least, like, you go from being a team that wins 65% of their games to a team that wins, like, 50% of their games. Like, I think heading some more depth there would really help. Where will the touches come from? For Scottie to increase his usage over the next few years, who will have their usage drop in order to supplement Scottie's usage? Is it as simple as role adjustments, or will a trade be necessary to truly maximize Barnes' potential? I think there's two things here. The idea of maximizing a guy's potential doesn't necessarily mean maximizing their stats. I think maximizing their potential always happens in a team context. How good can they be? How much can you support their skill set? How much can their skill set benefit to the team winning? Because what I'm trying to say is, like, for example, who would you say was more maximized? James Harden in Houston or Steph Curry in Golden State? Because I think James Harden at his peak probably posted better per game numbers than
but Steph Curry won all the championships.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to talk about here as well. Yeah. So I think with Scottie, in terms of the usage, it's probably going to have to come from some of the main ball handlers, right? And I think you're already starting to see Fred's usage drop a little bit. At the start of the season, his usage is quite high. They needed it to be quite high, to be honest, right? Scottie's new to the league. Precious is fumbling layups. Pascal's not there. OG is like the number one option, but he started off really slow as well. So you needed Fred to do all that, right? Of late, you're seeing Pascal come on really strong. So, OG hasn't, and OG's been out. And Fred's been out, so you're seeing Barnes almost emerging as a number 2 guy. But I think long term, it's probably going to look a little bit like that. It's going to take a little bit off of OG's plate. As much as we do enjoy watching OG post up or try to attack, I think, let's be real, Scottie, even as a rookie, has shown more of an ability to do that. And I think that, with Fred, his initiating, it's pretty good. It's definitely useful in a lot of matchups. But also at the same time, when you're looking at a guy who can put pressure on the basket, which is, I think, primarily what Fred can do in addition to the three-point shooting. Offensively, that's where Scottie in addition to Pascal, they put the most pressure there. So I think probably out of those two guys, I don't think you're actually going to limit Pascal's options as much. I still think, there's a ways to go for Scottie's one-on-one game to get to the point where it's at Pascal's one-on-one game, which is natural, by the way. Like, look at Pascal's one-on-one game. It's come a long, long way.
Yeah, I almost feel like I'm not concerned about this usage for Scottie, like even for next season, because like we've already seen like the talent that's on this team. And if anything, I want to see how Scottie can develop more into just a consistent, like well-rounded player.
Yeah.
Because Scottie doesn't need to score to impact winning. Like he can be a great defensive player. We've seen what he can do on the boards. We can see what he can do in the low post. He can be a playmaker as well. Mm-hmm. If anything, I just want them to continue just letting him play in this role that he's comfortable in and just keep developing. Because right now, there's not a need for Scottie to be a 25-point scorer on this team.
Yeah. I mean, like, the question you also have to ask yourself is, if he becomes a 25-point-per-game scorer, does that specifically benefit the Raptors right now? And, I mean, you can make a case yes or no, but it's not totally clear-cut because I think for me, like, other guys are also scoring at a pretty good rate. That's the thing. Also, maybe take some shots off Gary's plate, but, you'd have to talk to Gary about that one. All right, let's move on to the next one and move a little quicker here. We got Mort, who wrote in, do you think Nurse never playing Yuta, Banton, or Flynn makes a cyclical issue? Their minutes are so sporadic that they're cold / have no confidence when they play poorly. So Nurse plays them even less and so on and so forth. Flynn only played like 40 minutes in total in all of January, for example. I'm sure that their usage being low doesn't help encourage their confidence. But at the same time, this is pro sports. I think back to what Stanley Johnson said last year. And Stanley was a great quote, by the way. But Stanley said, this isn't the YMCA. The guys aren't just guaranteed minutes. You have to earn all the minutes that you deserve. And I think to a certain degree, guys have to earn those minutes as much as we would look at wow, look at Flynn had some really, really nice moments, right? Or Utah had some, I don't even know if Utah had that many nice moments this year. I guess he dunked on someone named Edwards.
Yeah, that's right. Stay Utah friendly.
Delano had some decent spurts as well, but do they consistently do that, right? How confident is the coach going to be that you come into the game and you're going to do something great with it?
Yeah, no, I think you're completely right.
Does a level of play drop when you come into the game? And at the start of the season, it was clearly that. And so guys get taken out of the rotation for it. I mean, look, Nick has to manage everything. It's not just he's not just on the bench handing out orange slices and saying great job and putting guys into the game. No, his job is to win games. And I think he's gotten the most out of this roster this season. Part of that is limiting certain guys' minutes.
Yeah, and this is not a unique issue to the Raptors. It's just you're going to have guys on every roster that just, they've got to earn their minutes. And those names that were listed, given their overall play this year, they haven't really earned more minutes than they've been given.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
race through the last few. Next question. I like Pascal where he is on the Raptors, but if he was the guy, quote unquote, on another team surrounded by better shooting, would he have gotten more respect from NBA journalists? And could he be one of those triple-double guys? I think, number one, he already is one of those triple-double guys. I think the other thing is, could he get more respect from other teams? I mean, essentially, you're saying if Pascal played in Miami instead of Jimmy Butler, would he get a lot more recognition?
Sure, they would be on national television more, same stuff. I think it's just the same.
Yeah.
Same stuff that Raptors
I
fans
think
always have an
personality
issue
plays
with.
into this too, actually.
Yes. No, I think that's a really good point, actually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question. Comes from Joe. What's a contract do you feel comfortable offering Boucher in the offseason, if at all, given the greater need for a starting center and / or third guard? I think I would feel pretty good with bringing Boucher back. I think he's earned a raise from what he's done so far, which is $7 million per year. I think you give him a 2-year, $20 million deal, 10 per. I'd be pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, no, that works for me.
Yeah, he knows his role. He's performed well in it. He obviously wants to stay in Toronto. Raptors are also the luxury tax is $147 million next year. Their Raptors are very far underneath that right now. I think they have $112 in guaranteed money. There's a lot of room there. Plus, you have their full bird rights.